Okay, so for part C, I've copied down some information and I've made a sketch here. And the important part to notice is that they want to know what is the IQR. So remember that the IQR means middle 50%. So that means somehow I need to figure out if I were to color in the middle 50% of this picture. And again, I'm just kind of making a sketch here so I can talk this out. So if I know that this is 50%, that means that there has to be a boundary here and a boundary here to capture 50% of the data. Well, in order for me to do that, I need to use the z-scores on each side here. That's kind of a challenge because then I have to figure out the cost of this. So taking a look at this, here's how I'm going to do this. I'm going to say, okay, let's color code this first z-score bar right here, the one that's lower, as orange. Right now, I know that 50% of the curve is colored in, but if I color in the rest of this right here, going this way, then that would mean that I'm getting 50% here plus half of whatever is left over. So this right here would be 25%. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my z-score table to put together and come up with what z-score has 75% of the curve below it. So when I went to my z-score table and took a look at the z-score that gave me 75% of the data below it, here's what I got. I got that the lower z-score is going to be about 0.67. Okay, well now what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, okay, what about this? Oh, wait a minute, that's not the lower z-score, that's the upper z-score. My bad. Because we said that this lower z-score, so the upper z-score is 0.67 because we looked at 75%. So that is going to be this number right here. The question now is, well, how do I get this z-score right here that's the lower z-score? Well, I look at my z-score table and now I want to get the area that's just the orange part of this picture. So going to my z-score table, I get that the lower z-score for this is going to be negative 0.67. And notice that there's some symmetry here. So really, if you know this number, you automatically know this number because that 50% spreads out evenly. So just marking this down, and I'm actually going to color code these a little bit differently. So I'm going to put this in blue, and then I'm going to grab my highlighter and say that this z-score is the blue number. So now it's just a matter of saying, okay, what are these as an actual cost? Because right now these are z-scores. They're not a cost. Well, I know that I can figure that out by saying, well, my z-score formula is z equals the cost minus the average divided by the standard deviation. Well, turning this into an equation, I'm going to do it for this first one right here. 0.67 is equal to some cost that I don't know minus the average, which was 80, all over my standard deviation of 20. So now, if I wanted to start isolating this equation, I can say, well, let's multiply by 20 on both sides. So multiply by 20, multiply by 20. On the right-hand side, this 20 and this 20 will just cross out. So now 20 times 0.67, and I get 13.4. So let's see, grabbing my pen here and saying 13.4 is going to be equal to x minus 80. So now add 80 to both sides. Hi. Hello. I can see right here, this is just going to cross out on the right-hand side. So these 80s just cross out. And now I'm going to get 13.4 plus 80, so my x value for this lower z-score. This one right here is going to be the purple one right here is going to be $93.4. Okay, well, using the same idea that we just noticed right here, because the z-scores are spread out evenly, that means the cost is also going to spread out evenly. So this number right here as a cost was 93.4. The cost that's in the middle is the average cost, which is 80. So if I went 13.4 this way, that means it's going to be 13.4 going the other direction to get the blue z-score cost right here. So if I just take 80 and subtract the 13.4, that's going to give me 66.6. So I could say that this is a $66.6 amount. So now the IQR is the range between these two numbers, this z-score and this z-score. So if I take the 93.4 and subtract the 66.6, I get 26.8. So I can now answer the question. The IQR is 93.4 minus the 66.6, which gives us a total again of 26.8. And then dollars.